Hey guys, welcome to Night Owls. Sorry, we were a couple minutes late, just 2 minutes late. We were dealing with a tech issue. Sasha was having troubles with her mic, and it seems to be working now. Actually, she has two mics. The one has a short in it, so we need to buy her a new mic. So that isn't working. And then you have another mic as you're using, Sasha.
I'm just using my headphones. They have a mic in them.
Well, it sounds good. Yeah. So yeah, the other one it had that issue before, so we might have to take a look at that.
Yep.
Yeah. So how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. And guys, thank you all for being here. And if you're new to Night Owls, this is just our informal stream we do every Sunday night before the start of the week. Should be a busy week coming up. Should be a nice week. It's supposed to be in the 60s most of the week, Sasha. So that'd be nice.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm tired of winter.
I am too. I'm ready for the sun to come back in. And I know, I think Rubio is proposing to keep everything forever on daylight savings times. I'm okay with not changing the clock. I would just rather keep it on a standard time, though.
Me too. Well, wait a minute. When does it change? Does it change tomorrow or is
I
it next
no,
weekend?
it's always on a Sunday, so it's probably next weekend. The chat probably knows, but it wasn't this week. So because it's always on the Sunday they
Sunday,
do it. Yeah, so it'll probably be next week, I guess.
March 12th.
Yeah, that's next week. Yeah, so
Uh,
next week is daylight savings time.
isn't St. Patrick's Day next week too?
Is it? No, it could be. Yeah, and I just was
Week after.
talking to Sasha. We're going to have a game night probably on Saturday, so we're going to invite our friends in the around the Arkansas area, some in Missouri, see if they can come. So, uh, yeah, it always does. It always takes me a while to adjust to the change too in the time. It's kind of weird. I don't really care for it.
Me too. And I always want to sleep in anyway, and that just makes me want to sleep even more. And I don't
Well, in
need
the
the sleep
spring
I
it's
need for that.
harder, yeah, because then your body thinks it's, let's say, 8 o'clock, but it's really 9 o'clock. So you lose an hour there. So it's just
Right.
that kind of sucks. So anyway, we do this, and we'll probably keep this tonight to an hour because I got some more prep to do. I'm excited. In case guys don't know, tomorrow I have a guest. It's been like every Monday I've had a guest now for a while, and tomorrow will be Gonzalo Lira. He's also known as Coach Red Pill. And I'm excited to have him on. People have talked about him before, and he follows me on Twitter. And yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun having part
It
of the
will. I
show.
bet you'll have a lot of people on if you advertise it.
Mhm. I
Like if you
will.
tell people you should have told everyone Friday, but you forgot.
I'll put that out tonight. So the trouble with Rumble, and I love Rumble, but you can only schedule one in advance. Meaning I can't do like tonight's show, Night Owls, and then also do tomorrow's show. So after the show tonight on Rumble, I will set up the new show for tomorrow. So I got to do some prep and stuff tonight on that, but I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good interview. He's more now, and he started out kind of in the relationship sphere. That's where he got his name, Red Pill.
Right.
And now he's more, I think he talks about Ukraine because he lives in Ukraine. So it should be a lot of fun. I'm really
Yeah,
looking
because
forward to it.
you like to talk about Ukraine all the time
I
too.
do.
I
It's
get
an
like round the clock updates. Like when you're like here, it
I
seems
know
like about
it's a guy
Ukraine.
thing. I think we like war and stuff, so that is a thing. And so he will be on. I think we're going to talk mostly about the war and stuff. It's going to be. I'm going to have him on initially on the YouTube part two because I think it'll be fine what we talk about. I don't see any real issues. So, and I'll just tell him, when we go to the Rumble only part, if he has any stuff about certain topic we can't talk about now on YouTube.
Right. And then pull it like right after you show it
Yeah, I'll do that if there's any
on
issues, and
YouTube. I would do
yeah,
that anyway. I don't know. I'd be paranoid anymore because you never know. It's like might as well just take it down, leave it on Rumble, and then people can go to Rumble and watch it.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. So I hope to have more guests. So that it spices it up. Not every day, but maybe once a week have a guest on, go back to that, and I think it makes it a lot of fun.
I
So
think you should have Jared Taylor back on.
I
I
would
bet a
like
lot
to.
of people would agree with me too if you took a poll in the chat.
Yeah, I would definitely like to get his. It'd be interesting to get his opinion on the whole Scott Adams thing.
Oh,
Again, that
that would be great. You should do that while it's still sort of fresh news.
yeah, I would like to do that. I think I would like to see it. I couldn't. That'd be definitely the Rumble part of the show,
Right.
but that would be fun. Oh, and Sasha is always bugging me, and I forget to do this. If you guys want to write to us, and thank you so much for writing to us, you can write to me at Paul Ramsey, P.O. Box 8093, Fayetteville, Arkansas 72703. Sasha also shares that PO box, so you can send her stuff too. And we got some Christmas stuff just today. So it takes a while for the mail, especially if it goes to Europe.
Yeah, because this
Uh,
was from Europe, wasn't it?
yeah, well, one is Joe Biden depends. He's such a good guy, and he's a good supporter. And he sent a card that said "Happy Holidays," and he also gave a donation. See, wishing you happy holidays. So thank you so much for that. And I also got this from David. I won't say his last name, but he's from Britain, and he sent me a lot of cool stuff, and I'll show it to you. And one of the things that's amazing, they literally did a coin in Britain. Let's see if you can see it, where it says was built by diversity. I don't know if you guys can read that. Can you read that, Sasha?
Kind of. I can see diversity in there.
Yeah, it says diversity built Britain. This is literally a coin they have, if you can believe that. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's how cuck they are. It's incredible. No, Britain was built by the British people, but no, it was Afghans. And so he sent me a couple of videos that sound really cool. One is Fateful Struggle right here. Fateful Struggle. It's about a controversial look how the Wehrmacht and Waffen SS veterans viewed the Nazi defeat. And they interviewed them, people that were in the SS after the war and what they thought about it. So I will enjoy that. I don't know if Sasha, are you going to be really big on that? Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah, and then there's a good movie called Five Fingers, the story of the highest paid spy in history. You like spy movies, don't you?
Not really.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna watch it. That's okay. I'm all set up here to watch this. So if Sasha doesn't watch it, that's her. And then there's Orania. This is about that South African town they made in the middle of nowhere. In fact, the guy Orania.
Is that the one where it was like all white people?
Yeah, they still have it. And what happened is they just said, "Hey, we just want to make a town for our people." And it didn't even exist, just in the middle of the prairie. And it's all white. It's doing really well as expected. No crime, because most of the South Africa is extremely violent, and it's controversial. Like, do black people have a right to be around white people? And it's not like they're taking the whole country. It's just one little city.
Right.
And that still is creating a lot of controversy. How dare you have your own space?
See, I would like to watch that. That actually sounds something like I would like.
And then there's this, I'm going to put my finger over the symbol, Firestorm. It's about the devastating bombing of Nazi Germany. Yeah, it was horrific, like Dresden. I read that book, Slaughterhouse 5. We should put that on our book list. It's really good. And I enjoyed that. And so thank you for that. And then Gruesome Harvest, the costly attempt to exterminate the German people. And it's kind of almost happening, really, now in Germany. They've been at it for a while to eliminate them. And so thank you for those books. I really do appreciate it. It's not the typical book you see at Barnes and Nobles. So thank you for that. I do appreciate it. If you guys send stuff, we love to get mail and stuff. You guys are great. And it's always like Christmas, don't you think, Sasha, when you open up
the...
And that's
yeah,
a
it's
lot
always
of fun.
pretty cool. It's nice to get stuff besides junk mail.
Yeah, it is. And we got a couple of power chats already. I'm going to go in order how we got this. Kim
Anthony?
Yeah, he sent it off hours. Yeah, I had to look. You have better memorized than I do. He sent us that nice book, remember, about his ancestors and stuff?
Yeah.
And he says, could you please have another round with Jolly Heretic? I did not see the first round, and I'm pretty sure I would love it. Yeah, that was Ed Dutton, and he lives in Finland, but he's British. And he has the thesis that the problem is IQ is getting lower now than it was in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we're seeing a decline of civilization. He's a really interesting guy. I've seen him, and I met him in Finland, and he was on our Happy Homeland show. Sadly, I had to take all the Happy Homelands down because of YouTube censorship. So, yeah, and it's great to see you in the chat, Dave. We'll definitely give you an invite if you and your wife can come to game night, and I'm looking forward to that. And we'll invite Todd too, and have a lot of people have fun.
Sound like you're getting all choked up.
Well, I had before I came in here, I had a little bit of cereal and had a little bit of nuts. We got that. Sasha has some sort of cereal she found at Sam's Club is pretty good. So I had a bowl of that because I'm really full.
Night.
I didn't really have much of a dinner because we went out and got Mexican today, and I was kind of stuffed. So
yeah, I'm still stuffed.
All right. And Robert always has a fun questions on night owls. And he says, let's see here. Robert, $10. Thank you, Robert. Rams and Sasha, the following traits were voted the most annoying: interrupting others, scattered attention, always running late, and excessive loud talking. What are Ramsey and Sasha's top pet peeves? I hate people. I don't like people that don't show up on time. I've had that issue where I was supposed to. I won't even say who this was because it's kind of within family type situation. But you, Sasha, she said, "Meet me here." It was summer, July, summer, hot. It wasn't in Arkansas, but it was like, "Meet me here at my home at 10. We'll be there." And I stood there to 10:30. No one was there, and I just left. And then, oh, why'd you leave? We're just, running late. I'm like, jeez. I hate that. What's one of your top pet peeves?
Yeah, I don't like that either. I don't like people that drive really slow or people that cut you off and then drive slow in front of you when they could have just waited to get behind you if they knew they were going to drive like 20 miles under the speed limit.
Oh, another thing I hate, and we saw this today, is when people, they think they're being nice, they don't take the right of way, and they're coming in from the opposite lane, like you want to turn left into a parking lot or something. Then they wave you on, but there's another lane on the other side that if you follow their advice and go, the other car would hit you. It's just follow the, you have the right of way, take it. That kind of bugs me too.
Yeah, that bugs me too.
And other irritating things. Yeah, some people have troubles with conversation and they just start to go in a monologue and they don't go back and forth. That can be irritating. Or another thing that irritates me is, and it's okay if it's a silly movie, but when you're trying to watch a serious movie and someone's talking all the way through it, even, let's say you have a video you're playing, it becomes like, well, what's the point? I can't follow this because you just want to talk. Let's just talk,
Right. Well, it's different if you've seen the movie a lot and you don't really care.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
But if you're trying to show someone a movie for the first time and somebody like runs their mouth through the whole thing, that's kind of irritating. Or you go to the movie theaters, even worse because you paid money to go.
Right.
And you have some jackass talking through the whole thing. So
that is bad too. I do not like that. So those are some of the top irritants. This would be good for the National Day of Hate, where we say what we hate. But that does bug me a little bit.
You have a super chat.
I see that. I was just trying to get.
You want me to read it for you?
Sure, go ahead. I'll put it up.
Bobby Dodd, $10. Thank you. Have you watched Oliver Stone's documentary called Ukraine on Fire? Free on YouTube. Well worth the watch, regardless of what you think of Stone. Have a nice week ahead.
I don't mind Oliver Stone. He did a few years ago an interview with Putin that I found quite interesting. And I recommend that to get an understanding of Putin and Russia and everything that's going on. And I thought it was pretty balanced. So yeah, I could, the Ukraine on Fire, I think that would be interesting. just because of the history of Ukraine. This is something I could ask Coach Red Pill to talk about this and his perspective because he lives in Ukraine. So I think it's good to get a background versus just the silly notion that Putin went crazy one day and invaded Ukraine. There's a little bit more behind that.
I think Oliver Stone makes good movies, though. He's made some good stuff, like Wall Street was good, and Born on the 4th of July was good, and The Doors.
Yeah.
Like, I like actually a lot of his stuff.
Yeah, he I think he's a pretty good director, and I would give him that. So, and last night we saw an old movie because I never saw it all, The Great Outdoors with John Candy, and there was funny scenes. I thought it wasn't the best type movie. It seemed kind of a little scattered, but I love John Candy. He was funny. I can't believe I never saw that movie. And it's so weird seeing the movie from the 80s because I think it was like black free, wasn't it?
It was
just all whites.
I think so, yeah.
And you couldn't do that today. Yeah, it's interesting how just a few years ago you could, even especially in the 80s. Now you can't do. Now you don't see any whites in a positive way. But it was. What did you think of that movie, Sasha?
I like it. I saw it in the theater when it came out when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I liked it. I mean, there's parts of it that are stupid, like the romance between the teenagers. Like, it's kind of like, who cares? The best parts are, of course, the parts with John Candy. Like the part where he had to eat the steak. That was funny.
That was funny.
That's one of the best parts. And the part where he went water skiing was funny. And the best is when the bears are on their car and he brings them there. That's what's funny about it. Everyone's just kind of staying away and he's like, we'll get some action going and throw some candy bars, not just at them, but on the hood of his car. And it's like, what were you thinking? And all these bears come on the car and they have to drive home with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, John Candy's funny. But yeah, it's not like his best movie, but he's good in it.
Well,
like you said, it was uneven at parts. Like, I don't know.
Who is it that you said that produced it? Hughes or?
Yeah, John Hughes.
John Hughes, but he didn't direct it, so it had a. I felt the direction could have been a little bit better.
It could have, but it was funny. I mean,
it was nice. It was nice to see that, and then Sasha showed me this old TV series she bought. We went to this place of what is it? A vintage store you could buy old like CDs.
Vintage stock.
Yeah, vintage stock's pretty cool. And what was it? Is Sharon Stone called Dangerous? Was it?
Not Sharon Stone. It's Glenn Close.
Oh, Glenn Close. Okay.
Yeah, you're a little far off, Paul.
Yeah, I get them mixed up.
They don't look anything alike.
And what was it called?
Damages.
Damages?
Yes.
Damages. And that was was a series on what? Where was
FX.
it? FX and about what year?
Back in like 2007, it came on. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it was. We saw the first episode, and I liked it. Kept my interest. And Glenn Close, right? She was in Fatal Attraction.
Yeah, she's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and you said she was in that movie Hillbilly Elegy.
She was. She played the grandma, and I didn't even recognize her. Like when I saw the preview for that, and then there was Glenn Close. I'm like, really? And I mean, she is an old lady now, but she doesn't look that bad. They kind of uglied her up even more so for the part, you know?
Right.
Because she took care of herself for her age, and she has money. You can get plastic surgery and stuff, so she looks better than most like 72-year-olds. I think she's like 72 would look.
Yeah, and I want to thank everyone in Rumble. I appreciate you guys there. And I got Rumble and YouTube open and everything is streaming good. So that is pretty good. And Chad asked, hey, Ramsey, Sasha, do you guys like Clint Eastwood and his movies? I do. I like Clint Eastwood a lot. Wife and I just watched Play Misty for Me. Great show, movie. And going back and having the feel of the early 70s. You know, Sasha, I've never seen that. Have you?
Mm-mm. I've seen more of his like new stuff than I have.
I heard that's a good movie. Stuff. We should check that out.
Yeah.
Also shows how beautiful San Francisco was. Favorite Clint film. He did those spaghetti westerns and he did the Dirty Harry movies that I liked.
Yeah, those were good.
Yeah, and he did the Gran Torino. Was that it?
Yeah, Gran Torino. Yeah, he directed it too.
Yeah,
and $1 Million Baby. He directed that. That was a good movie too, but it's very depressing.
It was, and
I thought you said you'd never seen it.
$1 Million Baby.
Yeah, you've seen it.
Yeah,
I,
yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
oh, I asked you before if you saw it, and you said you hadn't.
No, I have. I have.
Oh,
I don't know why I say I hadn't because I have. Yeah, it was a good
maybe
movie.
maybe we got mistaken on the movie or something.
I didn't see Play Misty for me though,
No, me
so
either.
I'd like to see that. So that looks. Someone recommends it, so I'll give that a shot.
And he was on an episode of Mr. Ed as himself back in the 60s. He was their neighbor. Because,
Right.
like Wilbur and Carol lived like in Los Angeles, like somewhere in Los Angeles, and they had
Hmm.
like celebrities as neighbors. And like there was an episode with Mae West, but Clint Eastwood was on an episode too. And it's kind of funny
Yeah,
because he usually plays kind of serious parts to see him be kind of silly, like on, with being on Mr. Ed. But it's just,
I
little
like him.
trivia.
He's a guy that never became a shit lib or anything like that.
No.
And well, he was always kind of he didn't come from a Hollywood stock. He was an outsider. I think he was a longshoreman or something, and they saw him and they thought he had a good look. And he never trained in acting and so he wasn't part of the Hollywood group that's really incestuous. So
Right.
I thought he was a breath of fresh air, and he's still alive, but he's pretty old, isn't he?
Yeah, did we look it up? And he's like, he's
Like
got to
near
be,
90 or
he's,
something.
I was probably older. Hold on, I'll look and see how old he is.
I'm guessing near 90.
He's 92.
Wow.
His birthday's May the 30th, so he's going to be 93 pretty soon.
Wow. Yeah. So he's had a real productive life. Good for
He's
him.
one of the only
Living
one
that.
of the old generation that's still around, really.
Well, yeah, at that age,
Most of them are
93.
gone. Most of them are gone
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. He had a prolific career, and I assume he's retired now at 93. But
I don't know. I think he still directs movies
really,
sometimes. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. I'm pretty sure a couple years ago he had a movie come out.
that's amazing at that age.
Yeah, it
So, well, good
is.
for him. Good for him. And I was also in that vintage stock I was looking at because Sasha has a PlayStation 5, and I go, maybe I should try a game. I didn't buy one. I was looking at the highest rated Elden Ring. A lot of people love, but then I heard it's hard to play, and I didn't get it because it's kind of expensive. And also, I don't know if I don't really have the time to get involved with the game like that. But it did look a little bit tempting. So I don't know if you guys have PlayStation 4 or 5 games you recommend. Love to hear it. Sasha's got two. She got the PlayStation 5, and based on a recommendation from Jackson, who's on Gumroad, she got Stray. And how do you like Stray so far? You just started it, right?
Oh, I like it. It's really cute.
You play a cat,
No,
right?
I went through a few levels and then I wanted to play Kingdom Hearts and then I got stuck on that. So I probably just finish Kingdom Hearts and then go back to Stray.
Yeah, it's kind of a puzzle game, right?
Well, yeah, you have to solve certain things to get to the next level. You have to like think about things. So yeah, it is kind of a puzzle, I guess.
But it's not a kill game, or is it?
No, it's really cute. It's like you're a cat and you get separated from your like I guess your litter. It's just
Hmm.
you and some cats hanging out and you get separated and you're in this kind of like these burned out cities. And I
Hmm.
guess you're trying to get back to your litter.
Oh, that
So
does
I don't
sound
know. I'm
cute.
not like super far into it. Kingdom
Yeah.
Hearts 3 is really good so far. Like those games are just, I don't know, the music goes through my head after I play them for a while and
And Kingdom
they're
Hearts is
hard to,
kind of like a cartoon role play game type thing.
yeah, it's just like Disney and the earlier ones had some Final Fantasy characters too, I guess. But I never really played Final Fantasy except for the first one.
Does it kind of have a vibe of like a Legend of Zelda type thing?
Not really. I don't know.
I guess they still have Legend of Zelda. I played the original back on Nintendo, but I
Me
guess it's changed
too.
quite a bit.
Yeah, they've gotten better, I think, a lot of those games. I love the old games too, but some of the new games are really nice.
Yeah. Um, hey, Sarah Wallace, thank you. Sarah, I wish you were in town next week because we're going to have a game night, and you're a lot of fun to have. That's for sure.
Yeah, that would be
We played
cool.
with her and her husband. We had a really good time.
Yeah, it was fun.
And I always like her game nights. It's fun to get. It's one of those things that we just been so busy with other stuff. We kind of got out of it a little bit.
We
And
haven't had one in months,
one
really.
of one of our friends locally, I won't say his name, but he was asking about it. I'm like, it was funny because we were just talking about it today, and then he wrote. Sarah Wallace here. He said she gave a chat here. Where it is that?
I'll read it.
Here it is. Yeah. Oh, you can read it.
Everyone's talking about Bruce Willis right now because of his dementia diagnosis, but I wonder, do you know of any other celebrity that has dementia? Why is a common
Illness.
illness, yeah, cut off? I didn't even know Bruce Willis
Why
had
is a
dementia.
common illness so uncommon in Hollywood? Yeah, I didn't copy it all. Sorry about Sarah.
That's a,
Yeah, but that's what she said. Yeah, he's got dementia and he's in a bad shape.
I didn't know he was as old as he is. He's
How old is
60,
he?
67.
Wow, still alive, huh?
Yeah,
Amazing.
you're not far behind him.
I know. Wow, I'm still alive. That shocked me. I didn't plan on this. What the hell? See, this is what happens. You just you keep living your life, and before you know it, you're old, and you're like, "How did I get this old?"
I
It's
know it
just you don't
sucks.
expect it. You don't have to do
No.
anything. You just kind of just goof off, and then all of a sudden this happens. So um, I don't know. Do you know of any other Hollywood actresses or actors that had dementia?
Didn't Jean Tierney have dementia? I thought she had like some. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I'm going to Google this because I think there has been quite a few people. Charles Bronson had it. James Doohan, Arlene Francis. There's been there's been quite a few people, I guess, with dementia. Let me share it for you guys so you guys can see the list here. I think mostly Hollywood, they try to keep things kind of private
Quiet.
as much as they can, and then they just said they died after a long. Because what I think probably happens, Sarah, is this more? It's probably just as common as anyone else. It's just that they just disappear from the public eye, and you don't hear from them. Then all of a sudden, you hear that they died peacefully or whatever. I would assume that's the case in a lot of cases. Rita Hayworth had dementia.
Yeah,
Peter
because
Falco,
I
Charlton
remember
Heston.
my aunt told me that Rita Hayworth, when she had dementia, people didn't know, and they
Mhm.
accused her of being a drunk and all this other stuff, and then it came out later that she was actually really sick.
Yeah. Did she have it when she was older or young?
She didn't. I don't think. I would probably say 60s. I don't think she lived like a super long time. Let's
Yeah.
see.
And Sarah's dementia, is that the same thing as Alzheimer's or are they different? Do you know, Sasha?
I don't
Because the
know.
people throw those terms around. Like, what's the difference between senility, Alzheimer's, dementia? Are they all three the same? And they're just senility is the old term from it. And then how do you differentiate that from? Because I think when you get older, just like all the rest of your body, you're not as quick mentally. Most people, I don't think anyone is. Like, you don't
No.
have any super chess champions after the age of like 50. It's very
Right.
rare. They're all young, pretty,
She was
because they get to,
68.
yeah.
Rita Hayworth was 68
When she died or when she got
when
dementia.
she died. So she probably had it a couple of years before she died, I'm assuming.
Uh,
So she was in her
Ro-
60s.
Robin Williams, they said had it. Aaron
I
Spelling,
didn't realize he had it. I knew
I,
Robin Williams. I didn't know Aaron Spelling had it. I
Joanne
didn't
Woodward.
know she did either. So
So
I guess quite a few people did.
yeah, and Meredith Burgess, Jack Lord.
I
Yeah,
knew that I knew Estelle Getty did, but I kind of forgot. But yeah, she disappeared, like you said. They'd have like Golden Girls reunion type things, and she wouldn't be there, like that type of
right.
thing.
So I'm not really sure what's the difference between all three. I mean, people when they get older, they just. I mean, and one of the issues, like my father, I love him dearly, and he's 87, and he's still fine. But his big problem is he doesn't hear well, and it's the weird thing with hearing aids. I don't know if you guys have old people with hearing aids, but they seem not to totally work. I don't know. They kind of do, but they kind of don't.
I
I
don't
got to
like them but
they
most
don't.
of the
No one
time.
likes hearing aids, and they always get this weird feedback. So part of the problem is if you have someone they start losing their hearing, it can come across like they. I had that once. I had this really bad cold or congestion. It was sinus thing years ago, and for the longest time, I just could hardly hear. Everything was muffled, and when I went into like a McDonald's to order something, I was having to try to guess what they were saying, and you feel bad having to ask someone, well, I can't hear you. What are you saying? So you start to guess. And then sometimes it comes across like you're kind of nuts because you're not
Right.
hearing it right. I think that's another aspect of it too. People can't hear well, so I don't know. And then memory's a strange thing too. Memory changes easy, so that can be kind of crazy. So when we see Sarah again, we'll have to ask her about that, the different types of, because she works with older people too, of dementia versus Alzheimer's versus senility, versus just that you're older and you just forget things. So thank you for that, though. That's so.
You have another super chat.
I do, and I got another power chat too. So this is very nice by everyone. Thank you on that. Let me just scroll up. I always worry about getting that too, to be honest.
Yeah, that's one thing. My family, nobody's had that, so we have every other horrible thing, but not that.
SJ Shady, another real life friends, $10. Thank you. We're so excited. Hey, Ramsey and Sasha, have you seen the movie Take Shelter and with Michael Shannon? It's about a man that has vivid nightmares about an approaching apocalyptic storm. It's a great movie. I haven't. Have you heard of it, Sasha?
I think I've heard of it. I've never seen it though.
Let's put that on our list to watch, and then we will review it. And when we get on Night Owls, because that's what I like to do. We watch the movie and talk about it. Take Shelter. Did you write that down, Sasha? Or let me write that down.
No, I can see. Yeah, let me put it here.
Write that down so we can make sure. And also play Misty for me. I want to remember that one too. And so we got some movies to watch. I haven't watched that, but I will definitely do so. And thank you, though, a lot for the suggestion. Johnny had a great one. Here's Johnny. Thank you, Johnny. And this is Johnny. Rams and Sasha's top 3 or 4 children's books they read growing up: Gilbert Gump, Swallowed by a Fly, and The Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day were 2 of mine. I will go first. One of the books that really got me into reading when I was in 4th or 5th grade, I'm not sure, I really got into Hardy Boys, and I was like addicted to them. The mystery is funny because recently I went back and I'm like, boy, those were fun books. And now I read them, I'm like, boy, those are stupid books. But at the time, it doesn't have character development, which is fine at that age. You just want this happens, and it's just absurd events. How they're the sons of a private detective. It's like takes place in the 50s or something, and the mystery of the hidden treasure or something like that.
Yeah, like Nancy Drew.
Yeah, as a boy, I loved it because it was a plot that just kept moving, and there's no icky romance. It was just the pirates that had the hidden treasure in a cave, and I loved it at that age. It got me real into reading, and that was the books I remember reading, not because I had to read in school, but just because I wanted to read. So that was the first book I read because I wanted to read. Now, as a kid, I had a really good education early on. I went to a Baptist school, and they were very good at an early age. I read the McGuffey readers. They were Christian. They were they put you, most probably a lot of high school kids probably can't read at the level we were reading at 1st and 2nd grade. Some high school kids can't even read, but you were. So that was kind of intense, but I didn't say I really enjoyed it, but I did enjoy the Hardy Boys. They that stands out. And then I did, there's this whole like young adult literature. I have to be honest, I kind of skipped all of that and I went to pretty much adult books. I went from kids books to adult books. I guess I read Starship Troopers. I didn't realize at the time that was considered young adult lit, but I enjoyed that. And I just got into reading more adult type of books by the time I was in junior high or high school, I think. So that's kind of because at 12 years old, I'm not saying this. I mean, it's really kind of embarrassing, but I had a subscription to National Review, William Buckley. So I was kind of a strange kid. Surprise, right, Sasha?
Yeah, and surprise.
Yeah, so I was reading kind of odd things even back then. So I kind of went from like kids books to adult books. I didn't have that middle ground. I kind of wish I did, but
I
Go ahead.
consider the Hardy Boys kind of that middle ground, though, to some degree. I guess unless you're talking about like reading in high school. Because when I was a little kid, like I like stuff like Clifford,
Oh
and then
well,
you get
yeah,
a little older, and then you like stuff like, well, like me, I like the Babysitters Club, and
yeah.
that's like pre-high school. I
I'm
mean, I
not
would.
counting. Yeah, I'm not counting like when I was a toddler because yeah, when I was a toddler, my mom and dad they got me like Dr. Seuss, Hop on
Well,
Pop.
see, I liked those too
Yeah,
when I
I
was a
used to
kid.
read those, and those were a great way to learn to read, and it's just fun. But I read early. I think I was already reading by kindergarten, and so because my parents worked with me a lot.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, when I was a toddler, I liked those real children books, but I didn't count those because they were just, but I enjoyed Dr. Seuss because he had rhymes and rhythm about it. It was kind of and silly characters, and I think they were really good books. And
They
uh,
were.
my kids, when I read to them, they really liked Dr. Seuss too. They were kind of, I think, universal. I think he had a certain rhythm, how he did his rhyming, and the silly characters, and they're colorful. And the kids, they like to see stuff that's, let's say a goldfish on a elephant. A kid will find funny because it's out of place and stuff like that. So I did that. How about you, Sasha? What did you like to read as a kid? And
Well,
Sasha, by the way, is a huge reader, and the bookcases, and she's got thousands of books. Sasha is a big reader to this day.
yeah, but I just read junk mostly.
Well, no, you read all sorts of stuff, to be honest. I mean, you read Jared Taylor's books, Good Intentions.
I
You've read
have.
Michelle Malkin. So you read serious stuff too. But you read also popular literature, Game of Thrones. You like that.
Oh, I
You love
love Game of
Stephen King
Thrones. I
and
do. Old
Anne
Stephen King.
Rice and
Love her
all that.
stuff.
So
Yeah, Planet of the
she never got
Cave.
in. I always tease her when we went to the bookstore about those romance novels. Like there was one about the cowboy. The girl had to go to the ranch because the cowboy was sort of an outlaw and she had to tame his heart or something like that.
Not unless you count like stuff like Endless Love, but that was like kind of about a guy stalking a girl. So it wasn't like so much about like a like it starts out like they're in high school
Mhm.
and they're like in love and they have this whole relationship, and then like her father says they can't see each other anymore, and so he, to get the attention, he ends up setting a fire on their porch and burns their house down. And then he goes to like juvenile hall for like a couple years and he
Well, that's
writes her
romantic
obsessively. He's not
arson.
allowed to see her. It's actually a good book.
Yeah.
But there's a movie with Brooke Shields and James Spader was in it. It's Tom Cruise's first movie. It came out when you were in high school, I think,
Yeah, I remember
1981.
Endless Love. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that, but that's
I
not
always
like one
get
of those
I always
cowboy
get that
books.
and Blue Lagoon mixed up.
I like Blue Lagoon too, but the book for Endless Love is way better than the movie. Like I don't know, it's still entertaining, but I like that. But I know, oh, I like some of those trashy books, like those Jacqueline Suzanne books, like Valley of the Dolls and
Hmm.
stuff like that. They're not romance though, but they're kind of like chick
Oh, what was
books.
that book that you liked about the incest in the attic or
Oh,
whatever?
BC Andrews. Oh, Flowers in
Yes.
the Attic. I was talking to someone at work about BC Andrews like last week, and they said they loved her books and they were obsessed with them when they were like in junior high school. And I said, me too. She said, I should go back through and like read those again. I said, the audiobooks are on YouTube. That's what I did a couple of years ago. I listened to all of them again.
Yeah, I mean,
And they're still fun to listen to.
don't let Sasha kid you. She's got thousands of books that she's read and all different types too. So it's probably more than I have, that's for sure. I get
Oh,
into like kind of more historical stuff. I do like fiction. I when I was in college, and I'll answer this question for was it Johnny? Johnny, when I was in college, I got into Magician. It was kind of like a fantasy series by Feist, I think his name is. It was a good book. It's a good series. I could see but it wasn't a kid's book, but it's kind of a younger book. I mean, it was an adult book. Um,
oh, but back to the, I never really answered the question, but like, I think I said when I was a kid, I like Clifford and the Serendipity books. But then when I was
mhm.
in like junior high and pre-junior high, like Babysitter's Club and like Sweet Valley Twins and Sweet Valley High. And those are kind of like how you were saying with like the Hardy Boys, they don't have any character development. That's kind of how these were. It's like, oh, Elizabeth's, there's very little character development. Like
Yeah.
Elizabeth's the good girl and she's perfect and makes straight A's and lets her sister run her over and do whatever
Yeah.
she wants to. And the sister's this cheerleader, snotty bitch that goes through boyfriends like people go through Kleenex. And
Yeah.
that's the character development, and that's how the books go along.
Yeah.
But I loved those when I was a kid.
Did you read Nancy Drew, you said?
A little bit. I like Nancy Drew, but it
You know,
wasn't.
they're the same writers as Hardy Boys and Nancy
They
Drew.
are. There's a book about Nancy Drew and the women that wrote her, and it was to market like that age group because at the time they didn't really do young adult books so much. They were either like kids books or books for adults. There wasn't a
Yeah.
lot of middle back in the 30s.
I think Hardy Boys started out, I forget the name of the author, it's a pen name, but the guy, or maybe it was a girl, she did a
Carol
lot.
Keene is Nancy Drew.
Well, there was one, and then there was a lot of other people that wrote under the same name.
Right.
It wasn't, but I mean, there were I mean, I'm sure AI could write a Hardy Boys book. I mean, it's not that
Right.
complicated,
It's not.
but they were good for that age, though. At that age, I liked it. There's a
Franklin
lot of books.
Dixon.
Yeah, there's a lot of books that I like read in high school that didn't really resonate with me that when I read as an adult, I'm like, man, this is really good. Like Slaughterhouse 5. I mean, I understood it, but I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. But when I'm older, I understood it better, you know, the whole anti-war. And because some of the stuff when you're in high school, how can you relate to some of these emotions and situations? You just can't because you don't have that life experience.
Right.
And so it just seems kind of silly, and you don't, you know, I bet when you get older, you can say, oh, wow, this is pretty amazing. So, yeah. Did I ever tell you on my mom's side, she had her sister, half sister's husband, Uncle Don. He was a nice guy, but he always thought it was strange that I read.
Oh yeah. I think my family kind of thought that about me too.
Yeah, he always
Like
thought
my
it was
dad
kind of
would tease
gay.
me.
He's like,
Yeah.
"What? You're kind of gay if you read." And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. He was
Yeah.
kind of kind of a I don't know, kind of redneck type, you know, and it's like a nice guy, but yeah. So and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, you know, my grandfather never read much. He was a very intelligent man, but he wasn't a big reader. He was a blue collar worker in Chicago. He worked on the railroads and plants, and great man, successful, but he didn't read much. My dad, I think I got my reading from my dad because he just loves to read. I think he still does to this day. Um,
I don't think
he
either one of my parents read.
he's got a ton of books. He's always liked to read, so
My
that's
aunt
pretty
liked
cool.
to read. I think that's probably where I got it. But my
Right.
dad never liked to read, but she read a lot. She liked to read true crime. That was always in the house when I was a kid, and it was very frightening as a Kid.
Well, Serge De Novo said the first book I read in English was Wrinkle in Time.
Oh, that's a good book too.
Yeah, that's got to be hard if you know you have a second language. Read another book, you know.
Hmm.
I would think that to me, understanding a book in another language would be difficult.
Yeah, I would think.
Yeah, so great question though, because I think books are important. And, what do you think about this? They're trying to, it's like George Orwell. They're trying to change some of those books. Who were Willy
Roald
Wonka,
Dahl.
Ron Dahl,
Roald Dahl.
Roald Dahl. They're changing the books to have more women of color and bullshit like that in his books. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I'm not surprised though. I guess every year now they have to go after some author. Like last year it was Dr. Seuss, and then now
Hmm.
they're going to go after Roald Dahl. If you don't like them, just don't freaking read them. It's not
Write
like
your
there's
own
not
books.
enough kids
Yeah,
that
write
have
your own
tons of
books. Yeah.
freaking books. Like,
Well, and the thing
read something
is
else.
it's Sasha sometimes, but when you look at kids' books now, they're all about homosexuals or Black Lives Matter or stuff like that. It's just really weird.
Or they'll be about like immigrants. I've seen that a lot too, like lately.
Yeah, and
And
there was
just
like this uh I don't know. I saw it on Twitter. I won't show it here, but it was on Breitbart. They were doing the bondage show for little kids or something like that. Did you remember
oh
you
yeah,
saw
I
that?
saw it on Twitter. It was
Yeah.
gross.
And I'm like, you know, when I was that age, they had like Bugs Bunny. Why do they
Right.
need bondage shows for these
Because
little kids?
it's a freaking pervert.
Yeah, I don't. That's just weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
it's a freaking pervert.
yeah. It's yeah.
Some
I'm
pedo
it's yeah. I can't stand that.
either.
You shouldn't push sexuality on children that age. I mean, it's just really really poor to do. I hate to see that.
That reminds me. I was telling you about the Milo Laura Loomer feud. That was something. I guess he had a sodomy calendar or something like to show how many days he'd gone without gay sex.
Oh,
Did you
Milo
hear?
did?
Yeah, did you hear about that?
How many days did he make without gay sex?
I don't remember. And I think they said on January 6th he started doing it again or something. I don't know.
Oh, he had a relapse or something?
Yeah, he had a relapse or something, but it was just kind of funny that he called it a sodomy calendar. Or somebody called it that. That's what I heard. I thought it was funny.
We got another, yeah, we should talk about that a little more here, but I want to read this power chat we got. Let's see here. This is from Roe Bill Lard. Thank you. My favorite woman's novel is Pregnant in the Cowboy CEO. It's real. I took a photo of it on the book rack. Yeah, women's novels in the romance section are funny just to look at them. It shows, I guess, what women like. My grandmother used to like to read romance novels, but she said she would skip the sex part. She didn't like that, but she liked to read about cowboys. And I don't know. It's funny because they did a poll like what women are into, and they're into billionaires, vampires, and pirates.
Yeah.
So, guys, if you want to get a woman, just be a billionaire that's a pirate that sucks blood, and you're going to get a lot of women. So that's what women are in, and they're into cowboys too. If you look at the and we have cowboys around here, but they don't look like the cowboys on, on these romance novels.
Well, it's funny because those Clan of the Cave Bear books, I love those books, but there was a lot of like sex in those. Like this romantic type love, and I would always just skim right through it. And I had a friend, and he was reading them around the same time, and he said he did the same thing. So it's like I don't think a lot of women or guys care about that type of writing. It's not like erotic fiction or something. It's just kind of sterile, like the way that they describe everything. And it makes me think of that South Park where Garrison was writing that romance novel, and he was just focusing on that guy's penis. Remember that? And he was surrounded by penises. Yeah. And they were like, "You've written gay literature." And he's just like, "No, that's what women like. They skip to the part until they get to the part about the penis."
Yeah.
And he won the award for like the most gay book.
Anyway, so I wonder if any of the women in the chat, do you guys like romance novels? If you can fess up to it.
I had a friend that did.
Yeah, well, obviously they have a whole section, so they must sell a lot.
They have tons of them. Like if you look on the Kindle Daily Deal, there's always tons of like romance type books.
And it's always seems, I never read one, but reading the backs of them, it's always like some outlaw cowboy that has been devastated about his loss, and then the woman comes and they fight, and someone comes between them, but then they get together or something like that, right? Is that kind of the plot for every book?
I don't know. I've never read one.
Well, you should read one.
I don't want to read one.
We'll do that for the book club. Guys, I was thinking of I was telling Sasha I should troll the book club by picking one of those, you
just ruined the troll now, Paul. You can't.
I know the man, the heaving muscles with the woman with the heaving bosom against her, and that would be fun. Joseph, thank you, Joseph. What following authors? What is the best book? Jared Taylor, Michelle Malkin, Ann Coulter, and Peter Brimlow. Which of the following authors? What is their best book? Jared Taylor probably.
Have you read any of these their books? Have you read their books?
Yeah, Paul? I read the Michelle Malkin one. Remember, she sent me that one, and I interviewed her. What was that?
That was the depressing one about like the immigration problem.
Yeah, I read that one.
That was good, but they're all depressing, but they're all good.
Yeah.
I liked White Identity by Jared Taylor, and then what the hell was the name of that book? Hold on, let me look it up.
By Anne, you mean?
Anne's books. She's wrote a couple good ones. The one about race was pretty good. Demonic, I think, was what it was called, and then Adios America was good. Open Borders Inc. was the name of the Michelle Malkin one that was good.
Oh yeah, I reviewed that one.
Yes, and what else here? Peter
because we had her. I had her on Happy Homelands. That was the most strange guest because usually I contact people. Sometimes people contact me though, right? Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden I got out of the blue, "Hey, I'm Michelle Malkin. Can I be on your show?" I'm like, "Whoa, wow, yeah."
I know we always talked about how that'd be cool if she'd be a guest on your show, and then
I know
one
I
day
didn't
you
even
were
think to
like,
ask, and here she is asking me to be on it. So
right, that's so cool.
yeah, she
You
was
should
really
have
neat.
her on again.
I
It's
should.
been enough time. A
Yeah,
lot of
it
these people
is.
haven't been on for a couple of years.
You
People
know,
have been asking for people.
I'm gonna
Just
get
get
back
some.
into the. I think get a guest every week. I like that feel, and I get it. I'm not gonna do every day a guest because people like to go over the news commentary, but
Right.
I'm gonna do it like Rush Limbaugh because he would have guests on it occasionally. So,
Why don't you
and
do
then
it like you do it once a week? It's kind of the special day where you have the guest.
yeah, I
And
think
then
so.
Friday's like the call day or
Yeah, open
whatever.
call Friday. People call in, and I think I'll do that. That is a lot of fun. So, and it keeps it fresh. Keeps it fresh. So,
Oh, and Peter Brimelow wrote that book Alien Nation, and it was
mhm.
another one of those kind of immigration books. It was pretty good.
Yeah, he's the guy with the castle, right?
Yes. You met him, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. And I met his wife, and I've met all these people, I think, except for Ann. I've never met Ann Coulter. So, but
Oh yeah, we
yeah,
were talking about the Milo drama. So there's supposed to be a dirt documentary coming out this week of Milo dropping. He said 4 hours of
wow.
stuff. I should see if I can find that. It's really funny. The actual like message that he wrote. Let me. Let's
Well,
see.
those two are such characters, Milo and Laura Loomer, that there's going to be friction there.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Well, and it's like they both just shit on each other, and you wonder. I'm thinking they're both probably like crap people.
Well, they're very much alike in a lot of ways. They really are. Well, they're both Jewish, right? But more than that, they're both very
Well, he said
outgoing.
she's not even really Jewish.
Well, she said the same about him, I
He
think.
said she
So,
had plastic surgery to make herself look more like a Jew. Is what
who
he
who
said.
who who would do that? They go the other way.
That's what Milo was trying to say. I found it. If you want me to read
Yeah,
or show it, share. I
yeah.
guess
Go
I
ahead,
could share
show it.
this.
Yeah, show it. That's
Let's see.
funny.
It's really funny. We'll share the screen here, and you can read it. It's funny. I guess this is our
Well, let me
version.
do this super chat first by Clutch Fan.
Okay.
Thank you. $5. Thank you, Rams. Have you ever read Surviving the Killing Fields about the Khmer Rouge? I haven't read the book. I remember there was that movie, The Killing Fields. I saw that. And I think it was based on that book, but I should read that book.
I think I saw the Killing Fields too. What was it about?
That where the communists killed all those people in Cambodia, the
Okay,
Khmer
never
Rouge.
mind.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of something else. No, I haven't
yeah.
seen it.
That's kind of the end result of equity because anyone's better than you, you kill them. It's kind
Yeah,
of a
it's a
dangerous concept, really. Where
society based on envy.
it is, and that's
That's
where
not
we're
going to
going in
work.
the
That's
United
not going to
States.
work out because
Yeah,
people are
society
always going to
based
be
on
better than
envy ends
you.
up bloody. Yeah, because how do people get equal when they're all dead? So it's a horrible death cult.
Okay, let
All
me
right,
see. I'll
you got
share it
that to
now.
share, yeah?
Yeah.
And I'll add it to the screen.
Okay.
I've met both Milo and Laura Loomer, by the way.
Okay. Can you see it?
Yeah, there it is.
Okay. He said, next week I'll be releasing a long form video special about Laura Loomer with audio and video eyewitness accounts from past and present employees, contractors, friends, romantic entanglements, donors, and volunteers. The special will cover allegations of sexual assault, erratic
Well,
behavior,
let's
and a
stop there.
multitude.
Let's stop there, Sasha, because I always heard this and I don't know anything about it. So this is allegedly she sexually assaulted a man, and I'm not sure how you do that, but that was the weirdest thing. And I don't think it's true. I'm saying allegedly.
Michael Crichton wrote a book about this guy that gets sexually assaulted by his boss. I think it was his
Yeah,
boss, called Disclosure. So it could happen, I guess.
but we're not saying
Um,
Laura did that. We don't know, but yeah, that's what he's claiming.
and a multitude of other deeply worrying abuses and behaviors. Yeah, like what did she do exactly? If you have been personally affected by Laura Loomer, please reach out as soon
Oh,
as you
jeez.
Oh God, I'm interested in hearing from former employees, friends, and anyone else with a story to tell. You'll be adding your voice to a large and growing body of testimony. Thank you for your courage. Oh my God, that's so funny. I love that. If you've been affected by her, please like.
Like a support group.
Oh God.
I saw Laura back in 2015 IRL. She was a hot person, to be honest. she was in shape. I met Laura. I like Laura. Okay, I met Milo. I didn't know him that well. He just came across real flaming. But
Well, it seems like everybody he encounters, he gets in a fight with them. Like
he's a
back in
drama
the
queen.
back in the day, it was Ben Shapiro. Remember, they hated each other and they used to
Yeah.
talk about each other on podcasts and stuff. And then it was Richard Spencer. Didn't they get in a fight? Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
because he said
Oh
in the
yeah. He
he said
dropped
in
that secret recording he had. And Milo's always says, I have this vault. Anyone I get in contact with, I put blackmail material.
he
He admitted
does.
this. So if you get involved with Milo, he says, I collect blackmail material in everyone I come in contact with. And yeah, he had that Richard Spencer audio tape where he was screaming like a little bitch that he rules the world or something. Remember that was after
Yeah.
Charlottesville?
Well, he said that he had that tape. Milo said that, and he was getting ready to drop all kinds of bombs on everybody, and he didn't have any problem like with it. It's like, who would ever be his friend after that? Who would ever trust someone like that?
I
Like, I
don't
wouldn't
know.
give anybody information if I knew like this guy talked all this shit and
And then
showed
you remember
videos.
Kanye West, that was supposed to be the campaign manager, Milo. And I'm like, oh my God. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
of all the people to have as your campaign manager.
wasn't he saying that that's why the Kanye or he was going to lose or something because he fired Milo? Oh, and I guess Milo's accusing Laura Loomer of getting him fired off the Yay campaign. Is
I
what
don't know.
started all this. That's what he
Well,
said. It's in
aren't
the
I think
DMs.
Nick and Milo are fighting now too, right? Nick
I
Fuentes.
think so
I kind
because
of
of
got read in
that.
between the lines that they were kind of going together at fighting. Milo tends to he's a really personable guy. If you ever meet him in real life, guys, I have. He's taller than I thought. He's shorter than me, but he's still tall, about 6'2". I think he's a good looking man. Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah, I've always thought he was a nice looking man.
Yeah, but and when I saw him very flaming, he had a purse and he talks like this and oh my God, and just he's very high energy. And so you tend to initially like him, but he ends up people like him and then they end up being burned by him.
Yeah, a lot of gays are like that. Not all, but I've had friends like that. Certain friends that we know that do the same thing. That are
Yeah, they
real
get into the whole
personable.
drama
Yeah, and
thing
then
and
they
all that.
start a bunch of shit with you and lie about you. And
Yeah.
so who knows if like a lot of that stuff with Laura Loomer's even true? He's just gonna ask randos stories and put on a documentary.
I've never had an issue with either. So I don't have a dog in this hunt. I've known Laura Loomer and I know her. She has my phone number. She's texted me before. We're on good terms. I don't have anything against Laura. She's always been nice to me. I always thought she took a lot of shit and she put up with it pretty well. And she would go on to these right wing things, and people would attack her because of her ethnicity. And say what you want, she didn't do a Sydney Watson and act like a Victorian woman that
No,
needs a fainting couch. She stood in there and took it.
no, I
So
like her way more than Sydney Watson. What a phony bitch.
yeah. So one thing about her, she's got a lot of grit. Remember the True Grit? That was a good movie. Both movies, they did the John Wayne and the remake. I like both.
I
Did you
never,
see
or
True Grit?
I don't think so.
You may
Maybe
like
I
that's a
might have.
cowboy movie, but you may like it. It's
I
not
may
like
have.
your typical.
I may have seen the newest one. Like, didn't they remake it a few years
Yeah,
ago?
it was good. I liked it. Yeah,
I
I
think
like
I
both. Yeah,
did. Did it have Christian Bale in it?
I think
Or am
so.
I
I'm
thinking of
not
a
good.
different?
I'm not good on actors, but it was good. It was a good movie. True
No, it
Grit.
had Matt Damon in it. Maybe I didn't see it.
Yeah, we should see that. And but I like Laura Loomer in that sense. I disagree with her on some things, like she thinks it should be illegal to protest Israel or whatever, and I disagree with that. And I've never had a relationship with Milo. I just met him and talked to him a little bit, and uh, that I kind of felt a little responsible for the whole alt right thing going mainstream because he interviewed me, and that's when he did the Breitbart article about it, and they were kind of sympathetic about it, and it just went viral. So that was part of me. Sasha, what if Laura Loomer was a guest on Ramsey's show again? What would moderating the chat be like?
I don't know. I wouldn't do it. You'd have to pay me to do it. Like, I wouldn't sit through that again. Fuck that.
Yeah, that was a question. I think I think K-Max knew the answer to, because Sasha said probably one of the hardest moderating times she ever had was when I had Laura Loomer on, because a lot of people are very, very mean to her, and they say stuff that you can't
Well, they
say on
said
YouTube.
stuff I didn't really understand, like certain things in the chat, and I asked you later.
Yeah,
And
they talked
you were,
about like wooden doors. I had to explain that meme to you and all that. So yeah,
but I mean, it was spammed. Your chat was spammed with that.
yeah,
There's like tons of people. You had your chat was more lively than ever.
yeah. It
Like
was
when
this.
she was in there, it was just like more like the busy. Milo was in there. Everybody hated him too. To
Yeah,
be fair, like I would say 90% of your crowd that time he was supposed to be on with you and Sticks, I'd say 90% of the people hated him.
yeah,
It's just like he's burned so many bridges. People hate his guts.
yeah.
I find
Laura.
it funny. I'm just watching it. It's like entertainment for me. I'm not like you. You met them and you like them. And that's nice. But it's like, I'm not probably never going to meet them. And I just think it's funny.
Yeah, Laura Loomer was on Happy Homelands, and Milo was supposed to be on, but I don't know, whatever, he got sick or
He's a
something.
flake. That's what
Yeah,
happened. He's probably
yeah,
hungover or something.
yeah, yeah. He was. That was kind of. Yeah, he was. Yeah, I don't know. I hope. I always root for people. You know what I mean? I do. I always
Hmm.
hope people do well, and I don't want people to. So I
Oh yeah,
I thought.
he had that grift for praying the gay away
Oh,
and all
Milo.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
You
ooh,
know, I hope he can get his life in order, and I hope Laura Loomer can do great things. And I don't know. I'm okay with both of them. I don't. I'm not in the middle of this. I don't know. I know Laura better than I know Milo, so I can't really. I don't know who's telling the truth, and I don't even know why they're going into this whole battle with each other.
I don't
But it's
know. It's because
entertaining.
it's funny for me.
Because
Like
she's throwing back too, because you sent me a response she made about him.
yeah, it was pretty nasty, and it was about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Everybody hates her now.
Yeah.
Like she's like it seems like she's one of the most hated politicians on the
Well,
left and the right.
somehow Milo has this ability. It's really, really amazing that he was in part of her staff for a while. He has this way, Milo, of just getting involved with like everything. And
Hmm.
even despite his reputation, he gets involved. And I can kind of see it because he is, Sasha, a very charming man when you meet him. He really
Hmm.
is. But then all this drama comes
Oh, I know the
afterwards.
type. I know the
Yeah.
type.
So because you would think there's no way, no, Milo, we're not going to have him associated with this because it always ends up in drama. But then he just shows up all fabulous and happy, and everyone's like, "Oh, okay, he's changed." And
I
then,
know somebody else that used to do the same shit.
yeah, I know it
Every
is.
year they
Yeah,
change, and you'd think like, oh, they're not the way they used to be, and then they always go back to the way they used to be.
yeah, it is, and so it's kind of crazy there. So, um, and then I got Michelle. Michelle, thank you, Michelle. $15. Thank you. That's
Yay!
generous. If you had to live the rest of your life in a TV show, which one would you be residing in? I think I
Oh,
would do Gilligan's Island, maybe Fantasy Island. Oh, Fantasy Island would be new. It'd be good because you could do that. I would be on Star Trek: The New Generation, flying around the universe and being in the holodeck. Yeah, I would be on Star Trek. So if you could live in any TV show, which would you be living in,
does that mean
Sasha?
you get to be like part of the characters and everything? So if I was like in Dynasty, I would be rich, like all the people on
Yeah,
Dynasty.
yeah, I think that's what it means. So be like pretend it's real, but you were part of it. So like
Oh,
I would be on the
Melrose
Enterprise.
Place.
I think that'd be cool. I'll be in the Enterprise, going to all these, space things, going to these planets.
Oh, you would love
That'd be
it.
mine. And what would you be in?
Oh,
You said
I said Melrose Place.
Melrose Place. Yeah, you would do like that. All the drama and
No,
all
all
that.
the good-looking people, and just
Yeah,
there'd be constantly like shit going down.
yeah, yeah. So that would Melrose Place for Sasha. Star Trek:
Or I
The
could
New
say something
Generation for
like
me.
Wonder Woman, but then it's like you get to be Wonder Woman, but that'd be a tough job. Go
Yeah,
around fighting crime.
yeah. That could be. I guess if you want like Mayberry, if you want nostalgia, that'd be nice. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to live in Mayberry here, but it's kind of
Mr. Ed would be nice if like you lived like down the street from him. That'd be fun. Go over and give
yeah.
him like carrots and pet on him.
That was a clever question. I never thought about that. If a TV series was real, where would you like to live? That was clever.
Live with next to the Golden Girls and go have like cheesecake with them at the end of the night.
I know. See, this is how I think women and men are so different. Like you're into all this personal relationship stuff. I'm thinking about being on a starship and exploring. It is really different how men and women think about things. So, yeah, that is a good one. Good question, though. Good question. Yeah, so I think we're going to be wrapping up soon because I gotta kind of prep for tomorrow because I have Coach Red Pill on, and so after this show I'm going to set up my Rumble stream. Hopefully get that set up so it doesn't have an error in it, and it's supposed to be pretty tomorrow, Sasha, in the 70s. Yay!
Yeah, it was nice today.
Yeah, it kind of almost felt like spring. Spring will come here pretty soon, so
I hope so.
excited about that. So, guys, it's been a really fun show. Night Owls, in some ways, is our favorite show. It's just laid back, and you guys are wonderful. And we will see you again next week. And you'll see me Monday through Friday with the show. I'm also doing my Substack. I do articles throughout the week, and I'll be doing one tomorrow. And I've been enjoying writing. That's a lot of fun. So I've been enjoying
And
that.
please write to us also.
Yeah, and that we always like to get mail from everyone. So anyway, guys, Sasha, I'm so happy you got your mic working because it almost looked like we're going to have to cancel the show, but you got that working. So
Well, I just used my headset, but it didn't work the first time because somehow I got muted, and then when I did it again, I was muted, but I wasn't muted. With the speaker has a short.
Yeah.
So I'll just have to use my headset.
We got one more. We're not going to leave. Listen, if people can give super chats, we can't leave. So Scott Adams posted his next interview will be on Chris Como. Since he's a modern journalist, how do you think Scott Adams will be treated? I don't know how that will be.
I don't know much about Chris Como. Is he the guy that hid in his basement?
I think so, yeah.
And isn't he related to the other Cuomo, right?
Yeah.
The one that was like mayor?
I think Scott can do okay if they did a live interview, but if I was in Scott's position, I would insist on it being a live interview, not taped. Because if they tape it, they just edit it the way they want you to look.
And he should have
scary music, and all the, when they show you in black and white, and they'll give you a look, on you look. Oh, I hate the media. Like when everyone knows I did that NPR interview. And then as the thumbnail, they showed a old stock photo of the Ku Klux Klan. I'm like, thanks guys. I'm like, why are you? I've never even seen a Klan member. Why are you suggesting I'm in the Klan?
He should have them record it, or have his people record it too. He should.
I did that too, but still they have a bigger audience. So
but still, it's good to have it. You
always, if you are going to have, it's best to do it live. But if you're not going to do it live, make sure you record it.
Well, he's a big enough name. If he did record it, he could probably just post it on Rumble and everyone would go over there. Of course, to be fair, it'd probably be most of his people that like him already.
Yeah, even someone big like Elon Musk may retweet it too, or seriously. Right. So I think he will do well if it's because he'll say I wasn't. The trouble with Scott, he sometimes gets too theoretical in his own mind about himself, and he thinks he's a master persuader and this and that. I'm like, dude, no, you're not.
That's probably what hurt him about all that too, because he
thought he was so above all this
and everything, and then it's like, nope, you're fucked, you're canceled now, like everybody.
I know.
else.
He thought I'm a master persuader.
They really overreacted to that crap. Like I can't even imagine now if you say certain words in certain movies, you get canceled. And back even when I was growing up, people said words in movies nobody gave a shit.
I know.
Guns N' Roses had that song One in a Million, and it had all kinds of slurs in it, and they didn't get canceled. They were like one of the biggest albums, or sold one of the,
Yeah, I know.
They're a huge band, and nobody gave a shit. Now it's like any little thing gets you canceled, like stuff that used to be considered common sense like 20 years ago. Now it's like, oh, we have to take you out of all these newspapers. We have to cancel your comic because you said something we didn't like. Yeah. And it's just like, he didn't say anything controversial really. And he wasn't even really mean about it. He was just like, if people are going to feel this way about my people, then I'm gonna stay away from them because I don't want to get, killed or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
And then it
yeah.
turns into this big thing, and I don't know. At least he hasn't apologized. I was expecting something to. You said he wasn't like buckling down or anything, right?
From what I've heard, no. And well, he was trying to, clarify. He didn't mean everyone, and it's really the white liberals are the hate group. That's what he's saying now, and people are 4chan are making fun of him. Oh, is that the new dog whistle for that group, white liberals or the white elite? He said. Oh, looks like the white elite are at it again in Hollywood.
So that's going to be like the new fellow
Fellow,
white
yes,
people or whatever,
yes.
like the white elite.
White
Start
liberal.
using that now.
I know.
He'll probably start getting shit for that now too.
I know.
He just can't win. Poor guy. First his wife left him, now this.
Yeah, but he isn't poor financially, so
No, but he seems like a sad guy.
he does. He really does.
And I
Well,
know
he
everybody
was
hates him.
talking. He was talking suicide last year a little bit. Remember?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's
Yeah,
sad because it's like he shouldn't. He has so much people would like to have, like be rich
yeah,
and not have to worry
and
about
famous.
money.
Yeah,
And it's like you could go on trips, you could go anywhere you wanted. Like I can't even imagine if I had his money.
I don't
It's
know.
just like I'd live in a nice house, I'd drive an awesome car, and I'd go on tons of trips, and I'd invite my friends to go with
And
me,
you
and it
have
would be
such a people
awesome.
that around the world that find you beloved. They love Dilbert, and
Yeah, and it's
you
like
could
he could,
go into any bookstore in the world and say, "Hey, this is my stuff I did here. This, right here."
and yeah, and he could sign books and meet
Yeah,
people if he. That seems like it'd be fun. Like I don't
I know.
know, and it's kind of like you don't really have it
Well, that's why he got
bad.
mad at me because I was telling him to do shit like that and not to sit in his mansion getting mad on Twitter all day. And I didn't know at the time he was having marital problems, but they kind of make sense now.
And
But
it's like
remember
move
that
on. Yeah, I
it was the
do.
middle of that thing that was happening. I can't talk about on YouTube. And he was just isolated at home. And his wife was going around to Fiji, Aspen, looked like she was having a good time. And he was getting into a really dark place. And I was like, dude, you just need to step away from Twitter. You got $75 million. Just go to Cancun, get a margarita, and chill.
And
He got mad.
he could meet somebody that likes him for him.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
he's the Dilbert guy. There's some nerd out there, some girl that probably just loves Dilbert, some
Oh
super
yeah.
fan. I guarantee you, they have him for Garfield.
Oh
Like I
yeah.
love Garfield, but it's like they have like whole books about like my Garfield collection, and it's just tons and tons of Garfield. So somebody's like that with Dilbert. There's some
Oh
nut
yeah.
out
He
there
wouldn't
that just
have
loves it.
troubles. He wouldn't have troubles finding another
And it wouldn't
girl.
be some gold digger, it'd be somebody that actually liked him because he was like the creator of Dilbert.
Well, the woman he chose is like, oh my god, really? Because she's she's the Instagram influencer, whatever
That
the hell
should have
that
been
means.
enough of a red
Red
flag
flag.
right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, right there. And she didn't. She just looked real vapid and very just like they all look, now. And
Hmm.
I'm like, what are you thinking
Fake.
here? It's yeah. It
But it's
just
like she was young though. He probably wants a young person. But it's like if you could
well,
find
I could
somebody
see
that's
he
his own
was.
age.
And I think it really hurt his ego because he had this whole view of himself that he was so brilliant with interpersonal relationships and he was a master hypnotist and he could influence everyone and he couldn't even hold on to his wife, right?
Right.
And so I think that kind of broke him. And I think he really loved her and he kind of thought maybe that she really loved him when she didn't. She was a gold digger, but
Well,
he
my
couldn't
friend,
see it. Everyone on the outside could see it, right? And it's too bad he didn't have some good guy friend that could tell him, dude, no. I mean, if you want to hook
right.
up with her with sex, just make sure you're wearing a condom. But why would you marry this? I mean,
Yeah, right.
this ain't going to work.
My
I
friend
mean,
Brandon said part of it was his fault though, because he followed all this like before Scott Adams kind of lost his mind.
yeah,
With all this stuff during like that thing we can't talk about. He
yeah,
said Scott Adams was really like he made it almost sound like he wanted to stay away from her because he was scared of getting sick.
yeah.
And that's why she went on all
He,
those trips. So I don't know. That probably hurt their relationship more than I mean, it's probably already hurt, but that was probably the nail in the coffin type situation.
yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
4chan made up funny nicknames for him based on his view of that thing we
Oh
can't talk
yeah,
about.
I've heard it starts with a
And
C
yes, and then it rhymes with blot, and
and ends
it,
in a T.
yes, and they it really broke him. I mean, it really got under his skin. It was kind of funny that someone like that, that's just an anonymous message board could really get under his skin, but it really did.
Well, why do people read that stuff about him? You know what I mean?
I don't
It's
know,
like,
but he
I just
got
like stay off. Just live your life. You don't even have to see
well.
people. You're
I
rich.
Yeah, I think he had a real big ego, and not just with Dilbert, but with his like he was a master thinker, and he was so wrong about the subject that we can't talk about that it was hard for him. Like, no, I wasn't really wrong. See, I was just testing boundaries, and you thought I was wrong because that was your view of the universe, but my view of the universe, you know, was just a weird bullshit thing. And yeah, I that also I think kind of. Uh, that whole thing broke a lot of people though, that we can't
So
talk about.
is he really retiring then, or because a lot of people think this was his way to go out the retirement? Into retirement just to kind of go out with a bang? Do you think he is, or have you heard that he is, or
I
do you
don't
know?
know. Maybe. I mean, he's 66. He's got all the money he needs in life, right? And but I don't know if he likes it. I mean, he could still draw people to a website, and
He could go to like Comic-Con or something and do
well,
what really
other
well.
other places will pick him up. Like Revolver was talking about it. So there's other places, websites that are pretty popular that would definitely, um, you know, but he doesn't have the syndication. That's where he's made his money. He would have a syndicator and how it works, and he explained it. It's not like he sold his comic to every individual newspaper. You
Right.
sell it to syndicate, and they give you a lump sum of money. I don't know, $1 million a year, probably more, and then they sell it to newspapers wherever they want, and they sell it for more than they pay you. That's how they make their money. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the newspapers, they want comics because some people they just get the newspaper to read sports and comics. So, you know,
But he can still make money though, even if like that, if he wanted to make money, like I said, he could go to do conventions and
but he
stuff and
doesn't need
still.
to. He
He
doesn't need to
doesn't,
make
but
them.
I'm just saying if
Mm.
he ever wants that or wants
Yeah.
to meet fans or
Well,
whatever,
yeah.
he
If he
can do
still
that.
wants to, let's say, like they canceled his books and everything too, but he can self-publish. That's what people do. And
Hmm.
he would sell a lot of books actually.
He
If he
would.
did a book about his experience with cancel culture, Dilbert, the whole thing, I think it'd do really well.
He could get the Daily Wire to like advertise it
Oh
for
yeah,
him
big
or
time.
something. Like they
Yeah.
would help him sell it.
Yeah,
That's what he's
no,
gonna have to do.
He's fine financially, and he can still get his material out there. He's not like deplatformed from everything, but yeah, it's I understand from where he was. This is a
Boy, your chat doesn't like him.
yeah. I guess I shouldn't like him because he blocked me, but I don't know.
He
I
was
don't have
having
the
a
same.
he was having a nervous breakdown when he blocked you. That's
He
why.
was. He was. I didn't know. There's other stuff going on in his life with his wife. Then
I
and
don't
it
think
just.
he's a bad guy, like deep down or
Did you
anything. He
see
was
that?
just
Remember, it was
wrong.
real famous. He went off on that one lady. She just asked us,
Shelly,
Shelly, and he was just saying stuff I won't even say on YouTube. But man, he was just vindictive, and he was talking to his wife.
yeah,
That's what it
yeah,
was. Just pure psychology because he was saying, "You goddamn," and he said the c word, and he just went off. And she asked something that wasn't even that offensive, but he just went on a tirade. And it was psychology. If you're doing this psychology, it was just directed at his wife. It was really weird. But he was in a very dark place. And sometimes I understand that. I've been in dark places too. And times in
me
life it gets
too.
very dark. And he just got into a very dark place because that thing that was happening, he was being proved wrong. 4chan was making fun of him. His wife was, having fun around the world without him. And you can read into that, right? And he was in his mansion just kind of seething on Twitter. And so I get it. You know what I mean? You get into
Right.
that spot, and yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, he's gonna be okay. It's not like he's gonna be homeless tomorrow or something.
No, that's the thing. I feel bad for this regular Joes. They have to get in trouble because they say something on Twitter and they're trying to feed their family, and that's the sad thing. But someone super rich like him, it's I don't want to see it happen to him, but and
No,
you can be super rich and still get very depressed. I mean, he was like
right.
suicidal. So I mean that happens. So I
Well,
hope
look
he
at all
does
the
better.
rich people that have had like drug addictions and
Yeah,
been
exactly.
alcoholics and things to cope with stuff. And I got
don't
cat
think
fighting in
he has
here.
much of a faith in anything either. He's all into himself, and I think he's kind of shook a little bit. So
Hmm.
I hope he does better, though. I have nothing
So,
against him.
yeah, I think it's bullshit that he's getting
He probably hates
canceled.
me, but I don't even think of.
I
I mean,
doubt he even hates you. You just touched a nerve and he was
yeah,
upset.
yeah,
It's like I said, I don't think deep down he's a bad guy. Maybe that's
no,
why he got mad at you because he knew you were right.
yeah. So
So,
I was just trying to help him. I was trying to be a bro, right? If you're a bro with someone and they're having troubles in their life, you're just like, hey, dude, step away from Twitter. Just get a step away for. I would have told him, step away for a week, go to Cancun, get a margarita. And if you like girls, you have no trouble because of your money and everything. You know what I mean? Forget the
yeah.
bitch wife that's doing her thing in Aspen, and just keep away from Twitter for a week. Just throw away your phone for a week. You can even throw it away because he's rich enough, and just get a new one.
Well,
And
somebody in the Rumble chat says this, and it's really true, and it's kind of funny. A dark place is better with 75 million than a dark place and broke. That's
it
true.
is. That is. So I and again, that's why I always people that are super wealthy, I don't or super famous, my sympathy with them is not I think we give them too much sympathy. And some of them I like to make fun of, like South Park, you see made fun of the Prince, so Harry and
Oh
Meghan
God,
were.
this book is like one of the number one selling books right now, Spare. And I'm like, why? Who the hell wants to read this?
Yeah,
Like,
and
she's
they're
just a
always,
whiny little girl. It's
he's
just
a
like,
bitch. I know it's
oh, if you guys don't want to be in the spotlight, don't be in the spotlight. You just want to
right.
complain about everything, and you both have silver spoons in your mouths. Like, fuck off.
Yeah, he's never had anything in his life. He's never had to work for anything. Everything's been provided for him. And I get tired of rich and famous people acting like they're just, get over yourself,
Right, because the things that they take for granted, things like everybody else has to worry about, like, oh, do I have money to pay my rent? Oh,
Yeah, no, they
what if
never
my
have to
car
worry
breaks down?
about
How am I going to pay for this? Like, am I going to have to
exactly.
get a second job or borrow
Yeah, they
money
don't have to
or
ever worry. They don't ever have to worry about work. Even if they did nothing the rest of their life, they have enough to live on nice. They always have nice food. They always have nice clothes. They're always going to have a nice car. They're always going to have the best medical stuff. They can always fly everywhere, first class. Even if they quit today, they'll have that for the rest of their lives. So their worries are more of, oh, people being mad at me or something, when they're mean to me. And it's like, oh, get over it.
yeah, exactly.
So it is kind of interesting on that. So yeah, it's been a fun show, Sasha.
It has.
A lot of good energy and a lot of good topics. And as I always say, it's true. We don't really prepare for the show, so it's kind of nice.
Yeah, we'll just think of like one or two things we might want to talk about.
Yeah, that's all we say. Talk about movies and stuff, then we get going. And you guys have really drive the conversation with your good questions, so that's been really fun. And I got to get set up for tomorrow, actually, because I do prep now. Now I have my show, I prep, and then I get up early and I do my prep. And hopefully the show will go well tomorrow. I think it'll be a good
I
show.
think
So you
it'll be
guys,
good.
if you guys have questions for Coach Ropill, he's in Ukraine. He was arrested by their secret police. I mean, he's got a fascinating story. This is going to be a fun interview.
It will be, and
I
you just love talking about it, so you'll.
well, in all things, I could talk about, his relationship stuff. So if you guys have relationship questions, and he's got, but I think he focused more on the war now. I mean, it's going to be a fun interview.
It
So
will
I'm
be.
looking forward to that. So you guys have a good evening, and I'll get that show set up tonight, and I'll probably hit the sack here soon. So good night, Sasha, and good night, audience. So
All right.
bye bye.
Bye, guys.